back. We're back again, ready to do another draft. This should fill up here soon. We need puppy drafts back. This is just these 12 team leagues are fun. They're a great way to practice. Um, Once you get in them, they do take a lot longer to fill up. So I've been sitting here just waiting to get kind of close, and it's sometimes they take like 15, 20 minutes just to fill up if you get in there early. So we need just bring puppy drafts back, please. Just for me. But we're back. We're hoping everyone's doing good out there. We are going to get into some more drafts. If you haven't seen, I posted my first Best Ball Mania draft, so go check that out. I think we did really good, and you guys can be the first ones to see it before the end of the season when everyone realizes that I recorded the $2 million team. So check it out now. Be early. Throw your first comment in there just to that's free advertising for you. Because I think we got ourselves a team here. So I've noticed in the past few streams that we've really started to get into a stride, and we're really coming away with a lot of these drafts being solid teams. Whereas in the beginning, like if you watch some of the earlier videos, man, some of those teams are just so bad. If you want to see a really bad team, look at the video with the Aaron Rodgers picture on it. Any of the beginning ones are just really not that great, but we've been getting better. It's very clear. We're walking away from most drafts thinking that we did pretty good. So we're gonna keep rinse and repeat. We're gonna keep getting experience in, and I've only been drafting in these lobbies for probably a month now, because I learned that if you go to underdogfantasy.com, you can deposit anywhere from $10 to $100. Get the first deposit matched at 100%, so you get free money to get in there and get started, get learning. If you sign up and throw some money in there, use code FFX54 above my head or at the bottom of the screen. That supports me, and it doesn't take anything away from you, so might as well throw it in there, and get on here and get some practice for your. It's a good way to get some experience before the actual redraft league start with your office, your family, your friends. And it gives you a little bit of experience to get in there and feel confident when you're actually going into the redraft leagues in, I guess, August. So it's a lot of fun. Get in there and let's get some drafts together. I mean, you could really stream snipe me and get in the same lobby as me if you wanted to. But that's my pitch. Looks like we have the 101. So we don't have a whole lot of it. I think if I had to guess, we're probably around like 2 or 3 times at the 101. So not a whole lot of experience here, which is always good. Get a little bit more experience in at each spot, because like I think I have 45 drafts somewhere around there now, and there's 12 spots. So no matter how much experience I have, you're not gonna get. It's gonna take a while to get experience at each individual position in the draft. So we're at the 101 here. We're gonna get a little bit of experience with that. Our first pick shouldn't be no surprise. I'm not going to switch it up now. Though I don't think Jonathan Taylor is going to be the running back one of the season again. It very well could be Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Austin. I don't know about Austin Eckler, but he might not be the number one, but I think he's a safe top 5. And at this 101 pick, he's in a better offense now with Matt Ryan. I truly believe that he will facilitate that offense a little bit better. So we're going to keep it simple and not keep people waiting. Ooh. Now, the thing about this spot in the draft is the 2-3 turn, for whatever reason, I just think that is such a dead spot in the draft that I just hate that portion of the draft. Everything else from there on is fine. I mean, nothing. I can usually find some players that I like or values start to fall at that point. But, unless you get some kind of crazy value falling to you, then I have a hard time with that 2-3 turn. I just don't love the players in that area, which I know probably sounds weird because there are a lot of good players, but it's just, I guess it's a personal thing. Jamar Chase goes before Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp falls all the way to 4. So I'm sure D Money's excited about that. That's a little bit different. You usually see Jamar Chase at 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe not 8, but 5, 6, 7. but he actually goes before Cup and Jefferson, which is fine. I understand the play, but I don't necessarily agree with it. If I was going to pick anyone other than Jonathan Taylor at the number one pick, it would be Christian McCaffrey probably. I can't bring myself to draft the receiver over either one of them. Though I think that Christian McCaffrey is a scary pick, and I would be more inclined to pick him in a tournament where you're like swinging for the fences, swinging for a home run every time, going for that number one prize pool. But in this, when you're just trying to beat 12 people, I mean, obviously you still have to take some of the risks, but I don't think I'm willing to take Christian McCaffrey with his assumed risk over Jonathan Taylor, who I think is a far more stout player as far as injury goes, and I think and he's just a lot younger, so that will keep his availability more in check, in my opinion, at least in theory. Anything can happen, but that's my theory. So, other than Jamar Chase, no real surprises so far. I will say that when we were doing the Best Ball Mania draft, you see a lot more value fall and a lot more surprises in those drafts than you do in these. I think a lot more people play these a little safer. These resemble the puppy draft a little bit more. And I really only have one draft in Best Ball Mania, but from the one draft I have, I was very shocked at a lot of the picks that people were making. Not necessarily so terrible or anything like that, but just not what you would expect. The worst draft I ever saw is the thumbnail with Kirk Cousins in it on my channel. Someone picked Kirk Cousins at like the 203 or something. I don't know. It was like the second or third round they picked Kirk Cousins. So if you want to see that, go check that out. But that was definitely the craziest thing I saw. Um, what is this 201 or 212? I guess pick 24. I mean, no way Andrews falls to us. So, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know. What's 24? That's like this area. Like the receivers in this range, I'm just not a fan. I'm really not. Like if I had to pick, Keenan Allen's probably higher. T Higgins, fine. I don't know. Let me know what you think though. Throw that in the comments. I'm definitely gonna go with one running back if I can. Just to shore up the 1-2 running back, and I won't have to worry about it. And then I think I might try to do a new strategy in this draft because if you didn't know, what I've been trying to do is, really switch up my theories. I mean, I'm not trying to just like throw shit at a wall and hope it sticks, but I am trying to like switch stuff up so that when I look back on the season, I'll have a very diverse portfolio. Because at the end of the day, this is almost like the stock market in a sense. You're just diversifying your portfolio. You have riskier plays. Um, you have more safe plays. You have a lot of different theories and hypotheses, and then at the end, when we see what the payouts are and what worked and what didn't, then we can analyze that and use that information for our next year. It's a lot more fun in my opinion as well. But that is my method here. I've been trying to do a lot of different strategies. So what I'm going to try to do is just pick a second running back here and then just run with a receiver. Like just put blinders on and just go. Um, that I think that has a very good possibility of it being a better team as far as my teams go. But we'll just have to see because I've done a lot of the elite quarterback options and elite tight end options, but we're gonna try to do something a little bit different here. So what we're gonna do at the 24th pick is we're gonna go Alvin Kamara. And then after that, do we want Keenan Allen or do we want T. Higgins? I think what we're gonna do here, AJ Brown is not 25th ADP value in my opinion. I think he's gonna have a hard time getting the ball in his hands in that offense. So what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna go T Higgins, especially with the method that we're doing here. Being that I know I'm gonna pick a bunch of wide receivers in a row, I do think, I've talked about this before. Keenan Allen is like for redraft leagues, not best ball format, but redraft leagues where you need to count on someone for 20 points every single week. Keenan Allen is your dude. Like he's a very consistent. You can count on him for 20 points. I really like him for that. But in this format, especially when I know I'm about to do a little bit of a wide receiver run here in the next maybe 4 or 5 rounds, I do think T. Higgins has a higher ceiling as far as his spike weeks go. You've seen him drop 40 points, 50 points with Jamar Chase on the field. Now, obviously, if anything happened to Jamar Chase, not going to root for it, but if anything did happen to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins would absolutely blow up. But even without anything happening to Jamar Chase, he puts on some big weeks, and we're going to take advantage of that in the build that we're going for here. So we can look ahead a little bit. Don't necessarily have to, but we can pull up the big board and see what we're looking at. We're looking at pick 48 and 49. So let's look ahead a little bit. I mean, this is probably a little too early to be looking ahead. You kind of want to see how some values shake out a little bit. But if we're just taking a glance, we're in this Allen Robinson, DK Metcalf, Gabe Davis range, which, I don't know. I don't love it, but I think if I was between these three players, I would bet on DK Metcalf, just the talent there. I don't know what his offense is going to look like, but compared to the other people in this range, I don't know if I really care. I think that DK Metcalf is going to he's going to make whatever quarterback he's with look good just because of the freak athlete that he actually is. Now, if Jerry Jeudy was available, I'll take him over DK Metcalf all day just because he has Russell Wilson in his corner. But even if DK starts the season with Drew Lock, I still think he can be productive. So we'll just have to see as far as DK Metcalf's production goes. But if I'm picking between these three receivers, I'm going to have to go with DK Metcalf. Now, there's a lot of people in this range that if I wasn't going with this method, we would be excited to take, like David Montgomery. David Montgomery is shooting up in ADP, actually. That is a lot higher than he's been. I may be mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is a lot higher than I've seen it previously, which is well deserved. I think David Montgomery is even above Brees Hall. Like I think right after, honestly, I think after like Travis Etienne is David Montgomery's value. I would pick him over Cam Akers, to be honest. I haven't just because of the ADP he was at. I was just kind of, I didn't want to reach on him too far, and you almost just hope he makes it back to you. So I would take a Cam Akers over him. But now that he's getting closer to Cam Akers and ADP, I do think that he has a better season than both of these running backs. So I would look at David Montgomery. I would look at Lamar Jackson. I would have looked at George Kittle if he made it to us. I'm surprised he went so early. But we know our method for this draft, and we're gonna stick to it. We have that as a loose plan. We have a little bit of freedom in there, but we're roughly going to stick to that build. Now, I will start looking for a quarterback and tight end around the 9, 10, 11 range. Maybe lock some people in there. But, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think at least the next 4 picks, I'm going to try to hold myself to picking wide receivers and just see how it works out. Now, you may be looking back on this after this whole draft shakes out and be laughing at me because maybe we get a crazy value fall to us and we have to take someone other than a wide receiver. At some point it's almost like throwing your team away if you're not open to these values, but we're going to try to keep ourselves in check here. Because if we never try this theory, we're never really, or method, I guess it's not really, I don't know. If we never try this method, then we won't really know how it works out. So we're going to try to stick to it here. Deontay Johnson, if he fell to us, that would be beautiful, but expect him to get taken here soon in the next pick or two. Now, I will say with this run that's going, George Kittle going early, ETN, Murray, Montgomery, Waller, it is raising our chances of getting Deontay Johnson, but our luck is Matty Ball game is going to take him right here. Um, and we're gonna so he takes him. But I will take Jerry Judy falling to us. That is quite a bit of a value. 48. He's valued at 43. I'm not interested in Patrick Mahomes. We talked about this, so we're gonna go Jerry Judy. We're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna go DK Metcalf. Keep it simple, just like we talked about. Stick it to our plan. Solid start here, I will say. Solid start. Justin Herbert goes off the board immediately. Let's pull up the big board as we go through these next couple rounds. I will say, I don't know if you've noticed, but the only bad thing about picking on the turns when you're streaming is to to wait for your next pick for 20. I guess even if you're not streaming, just like to have to wait 24 picks for your next pick is, I don't know, it's a little bit of a wait, but then you do get the back-to-back picks. So I'll stop complaining. That's on me. That's my bad. Let's see. Rashad Bateman goes early. D Money's probably feeling pretty good about this Patrick Mahomes drop. I don't really like his team though, to be honest with you. He got Cooper Kupp early, which is nice, but Aaron Jones, I don't know. I guess it's fine. I haven't been able to get excited about Allen Robinson, to be honest, just because I think he's a great talent, whatever. And I guess I forgot that they're on the same team now, so maybe he's going for Matthew Stafford for a double stack. But I got to be honest, something that I learned through this, through the experience of 40 drafts or whatever, which I know there's plenty of people out there with way more draft experience than me, but just through my experience, one thing that I learned is I don't like to take two wide receivers on the same team in your top three receivers. Now, if you grab someone like way later on that's a double stack, then fine. I do like that because you're almost ensuring that for like the higher draft pick, just in case he has a down game, you got the number two option. But to get your first two or three receivers on the same team, I really feel like it limits your upside because it's gonna be a one or the other type of thing. Like two players aren't gonna have 40 points in a game, 30 points in a game. I mean, I know that's a lot of points to ask for, but usually the way the game script works out is you don't have two receivers popping off every week. It's usually one or the other. So if your top two or three receivers are on the same team, then you're kind of throwing one of them away for the week. There is a sense of insurance built in there, but I just don't love it. And I won't be drafting teams like that anymore. There was one team, I forget which one, but there's one team where I did that. Who was it? I can't remember what two players I drafted that were on the same team, but I just remember fighting it for the rest of the draft because once you pick those two players on the same team, and I wasn't feeling good about it. I felt like I was chasing receiver for the rest of the draft. So since then, I've stayed out of it. I haven't gotten involved. It honestly might have been Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, to be honest with you, or maybe Jamar Chase, T Higgins, something like that. I don't know. It just didn't feel. I just don't like it. So we are gonna stay away from that. I don't really love that by D Money, but maybe I'm wrong. But I don't feel like I am. I like the start of Moo team right here. Two solid running backs, four solid receivers. Kind of the same thing we're doing here. I think our team's a little bit better, though. I like Jerry Jeudy over Cortland Sutton. I like T. Higgins over Jalen Waddle. And I like DK Metcalf over Juju. So ours is basically just a better version of that. Javonte Williams, Cam Akers duo as your top two running backs. I don't know. If he gives himself some backup in the running back room, then I'll like it. But if you're gonna count on these two running backs to give you solid scores every week, I don't love that. But let's go back to the board and see where we're at now. Because what pick are we? We're 72, and we have we have. I guess this isn't like a huge drop. We do have Dalton Schultz here though, which I might take, to be honest with you. Yeah, we're gonna take Dalton Schultz just because I think he's the last elite tight end. I know I'm veering away from our strategy here a little bit, a little bit. Um, so the Dalton Schultz is a little bit of a veer. And then we're just going to go completely off course, totally reckless, veer off course almost immediately. We talked about it the whole beginning of the draft, and we just threw it out the window, and we're going for Russell Wilson. We're going for Russell Wilson, and we're not looking back because we have the Jerry Judy stack. We have 3 solid receivers. We have 2 solid running backs. We have a solid tight end. We're staying balanced. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. It's almost like when you're sledding. You go to your, I don't know if anyone's from the north, but you go to your local hill. It just snowed. You go to your local hill, and there's a ton of people there, right? There's a ton of people just, they've been sledding, have a lot of fun. Um, and because they're all sledding down the hill, you get these little grooves in the snow. And, everyone just sliding down in between these grooves, sledding. And, you can try to veer off course a little bit, but you just keep falling back into that same path, and you just keep ensuring that same path and doing it every single time. And that's what we're doing here. We're staying balanced. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I talk about this. I was trying to I was trying to disregard tight end. I was trying to disregard quarterback. I didn't love the range of wide receiver that we had presented to us. Michael Thomas, Traylon Burks is, that's probably who I would have went with if I had to pick. Um, but we're just veering. We're just totally throwing that out the window. Now I will say I am still looking. I'm still prioritizing wide receiver the heaviest. But when Dalton Schultz is there and Russell Wilson, I don't know. I can't. I just can't pass it up. So, um, and the reason I like Dalton Schultz so much is I do think he's the last tight end that can be considered elite, especially this year. Amari Cooper obviously left the Dallas Cowboys. He vacated around 140 targets, and those targets are really just going to CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz at this point. I mean, you're going to get a few to Tony Pollard. You're going to get a few to James Washington, or I don't know. What's the other guy's name? What's his name? Jalen Tolbert. Like, there's no one that I'm. Oh, I guess Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup's what I'm forgetting, which he'll be there, sure. But I do think that this. I think Dalton Schultz will see some of the split up of Amari Cooper's targets, and so we're gonna grab him. Russell Wilson is in a spot to succeed, and especially since Jerry Judy fell to us, we're gonna capitalize on that stack. So I lied to you, just straight up. I just lied. It's not something I'm proud of, but it's who I am. So it is what it is. That I mean, if anything happens in your life, the only explanation you need is it is what it is. Cause it is. It is what it is. So there's nothing else I can really say here. We're coming up on picks 96 and 97, which I think this range. God, don't make me take another. Don't make me go completely rogue here. But damn, I don't like this wide receiver range. I might go completely rogue. Okay, let's calm down. Let's relax. 4 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers. This guy will probably take one. This guy might take one. So we might be able to get some value. Dare Bear's probably watching the stream. He saw me stressing about potentially having to take Kareem Hunt. He took that off my hands. He took that weight off my shoulders. I don't have to worry about it anymore, so I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Let's just lock it in here. We're taking 2 wide receivers no matter what, right? 2 wide receivers no matter what. And see, how I'm going to sell this to myself is that yes, I did not follow what I was saying. I will say that. However, what I did is I secured a solid player at both tight end and quarterback, so that'll free me up to continue to go on a wide receiver run in the next 4 rounds. That sounds good to me. That makes sense. I'm buying it. I mean, makes perfect sense to me. So, you did not just auto pick. Like, why even get in a draft and just auto pick? What are we doing? Don't take. Now you may be looking at this to say Alan Lazard's a value. I don't know about that. Um, I don't think I'm picking him right here. I think he's extremely overvalued. I'm not doubling up on Seattle wide receivers. I think Kadarius Toney has a very real possibility of being a very good wide receiver in the league. So we're gonna go with Kadarius Toney, and our next pick is gonna be someone along the lines of. Am I crazy for not going Alan Lazard? Yeah, I don't think I want him. Yeah, we're gonna go Chris Olave. The reason that got a little easier for me when I thought about it a little bit is that Michael Thomas is still dealing with his ankle injury. Um, his relationship with New Orleans has got to be extremely, extremely damaged. So I think they put a lot of draft capital into Chris Olave, so they're gonna scheme up for him. He's a phenomenal talent. We don't know when Michael Thomas is coming back. Um, he's not really competing against Jarvis Landry because he's a slot possession receiver. He's really just doing slants and out routes. So um, I think Chris Olave has a very real possibility of breaking out here. It gives us potential for a Jameis Winston stack later on. So I'd like doubling up on these two players, both young guns. We're not, you know, I almost went Alan Lazard and almost lied to you guys again, but I just don't think that Alan Lazard is in the talent category that Kadarius Toney and Chris Olave are. I think Alan Lazard is just in a good situation for now. I think Christian Watson is a far better pick on the Green Bay Packers offense, so I'm not getting excited to pick Alan Lazard at pick 91, or what 96 for that matter. I don't even think that's really that great of a value, if it's a value at all. So, and like I said, Tyler Lockett, I'm willing to bet on DK Metcalf just because he's a freak of nature, but I'm not willing to bet on Tyler Lockett, especially when I already have DK. Now, if we knew the quarterback was Jimmy Garoppolo, then I would have thought about it, but we're not going to double down on that. And when this circles back, I'm going to look for wide receivers again. So let's pull up the big board, get a little bit of perspective here. We're looking at pick 120, 121. Now, I will say I have to start looking for another running back in these 10th and 11th rounds, but I still am going to prioritize wide receivers. So 120, 121. We'll look at that in a second. What that range is looking like is a little bit too early so far. Let's see. Just taking a look at these other teams, see what we got. He doubles up on Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts. I guess he's staying very balanced. I don't think drafting two quarterbacks in this range, if you have no stacks, is necessarily the play. Jalen Hurts, you don't really. Oh, I guess okay. Never mind. I'm wrong. You have AJ Brown, so I think I would have went Jalen Hurts here, and then not even. I think I just wouldn't have picked Justin Herbert here. I would have went with like a Gabe Davis or Brandon Cooks probably. But to each their own. I'm just trying to look over these teams to see if there's anyone else that's popping out to me as having a really good team. This is the team we were liking earlier, and he did what we talked about. He went two solid running backs, but we talked about him needing another one to shore up the room, which he does. He goes with Ken Walker. He grabs Matt Stafford with no stack, which is fine, I guess. Don't love it, and I definitely don't like this Derek Carr pick. I take that back. You have Devontae Adams. I just don't like this Matthew Stafford pick. I think you should have went with another running back here. Maybe not CEH. Not CEH. You don't want him. Maybe a Cordero or Kareem. I know they're reaches, but I think that would have been a good reach. We were hoping Melvin Gordon made it back to us, but we're not going to be so lucky. Debo, Marquise, Kyler with Marquise, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins. This is a good team. I like this team. I like this team a lot. He goes Derrick Henry, punch running back for a little bit, and then goes Miles Sanders, Melvin Gordon. That's good. He gets a value on Allen Lazard as far as ADP goes, so I can't be mad at that. You can't even see it because I'm an idiot right here. Yeah, I think I like Lucky Ben's team the most so far, other than mine, of course. This seems good right here too. Austin Eckler, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, David Montgomery, Brandon Cooks, Chris Godwin, Tom Brady double stack with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, Kareem Hunt as his running back 3, doubles up on tight end. Yeah, this team's my favorite team other than ours, Dare Bear. Oh shit, we're up. Okay. All right, we're up. So, what are we going to do? What we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually go Jarvis, believe it or not. Actually, no. I'll explain this after we pick. After I think about it for a sec, we're gonna go Tyler Boyd. We're gonna go Tyler Boyd. F it. No. Okay. So our theory, you saw me look at Jarvis Landry. You saw me look at obviously Michael Gallup and Tyler Boyd. My thought process was, being that these are later receivers, I kind of like the idea of now looking at a little bit of insurance policy for some higher picks. So what we did with Tyler Boyd is we gave ourselves a little bit of insurance. If anyone's gonna get targets other than Jamar Chase, we're gonna have him on our team. And same goes for the Cowboys. If anyone gets targets other than CeeDee Lamb, we're gonna have him on our team. So that's what we're doing here. Now our wide receiver core is looking disgusting. We have 7 receivers at T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy with the stack, DK Metcalf, Kadarius Toney, Chris Olave. Obviously, that was why I was looking at Jarvis Landry, because it was the same idea, but just on the Saints. But we grabbed Tyler Boyd and Michael Gallup instead. So we really are punting running back. I thought about grabbing Damian Pierce there for a second instead, but I really wanted to go and shore up the wide receiver position. So now I'm pretty much done on wide receiver, and I can just focus on the other positions, which was the whole theory of the whole method of this draft. So we veered off there for a second, but we ended up coming back strong. So we really did stick to what we were saying. 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a little bit of a break, 4 wide receivers. So I like that, because now since we didn't veer too far off of our method. No, what am I saying? Since we did veer off of our method here at pick 6 and 7, it made us more comfortable continuing to take wide receivers, because we knew that we still had a very good, at least starter in our quarterback room and our tight end room that we can count on. So that makes us a lot more comfortable than if we would have tried to start taking a tight end and a I can't think today, a tight end and a quarterback here, because that would have been like the Tua Pat Fryermuth range, and I'm much more comfortable with with Russell Wilson and Dalton Schultz than I would have been with Pat Fryermuth and Tua. And the wide receivers that we got were Tyler Boyd and Michael Gallup instead of like a Traylon Burks and Adam Thielen, which they are better in theory, and they do have a higher ceiling in theory, but I would much rather have Dalton Schultz and Russell Wilson with these wide receivers than vice versa. So I think we played that right. We still stuck to our method, but we did it in a smart way, and in a way that someone that has 45 drafts under the belt would do. Earlier on, I would have just blindly followed it, and I would have regretted it later. So I'm liking what we did. I'm liking what we did. Jarvis Landry goes. I was hoping he would make it to us, but again, that was a bit of a stretch. Let's see. We're at picks 144 and 145. Coming up here. Now we're gonna be looking for. I would like to grab a tight end and a. Well, I don't know. Let's just see how it shakes out because we're basically looking for anything other than a wide receiver at this point. Justin Fields would have been beautiful, but that would have been quite the fall. I've been really liking taking Justin Fields in this range just because I think you're getting a quarterback with a very high ceiling, a very low or a very high floor, and Justin Fields being that he's so rush heavy, and you're getting him in the 12th round. So I've really been liking that scoop in this range after you have already solid quarterback. Justin Fields is more your backup, and if you compare him with a Cole Kmet or a Darnell Mooney, then I've been doing that a lot. Same with Tua. If you have Jalen Waddle or Tyreek, I don't have a whole lot of Tyreek, but if you have either, you can go for that stack and get a solid potential top 10 quarterback in the 11th round. So we're coming up here. Let's look. Yeah, we like this right here. Oh. So what we'll do is we're gonna go Isaiah Spiller. And we're gonna go Albert O. So we've just secured a double stack, which I do like double stacks, just not as the top two wide receivers. So we secured a double stack with Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver, and then Albert O at tight end. So I like doing a double stack with a tight end and a wide receiver. And then we went with Isaiah Spiller, who is going to have a role in the goal line in a hyper productive offense. And then best case scenario for our fantasy team, obviously not rooting for any injuries, but if anything were to happen to Austin Eckler, he would be a top 10 running back overnight. So this draft is looking really good. I'm really happy with the way it's looking. If Jameis Winston fell to us, that would really just round it out. Give us a double stack, sort of, kind of, with Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave. Probably not going to happen, but we are going to be looking for probably like a running back and a quarterback here at the next few picks. So let's see. You really get into a gross range with the running backs, though, the longer you wait here. I think you have a huge drop off. I think Dameon Pierce is probably the last solid running back you can take. I do like Isaiah Spiller more than Dameon Pierce if they were both starters, but obviously Dameon Pierce is a lot better of a chance of starting than Isaiah Spiller does. He's not going to start over Austin Eckler, even though, I will say Austin Eckler he's not a 3-down back, so you are getting some use out of him just right off the bat as well, but I think Dameon Pierce probably will take over the starting role come week 5 or something like that. So, but we can afford to punt running back that far when you take JT and Alvin Kamara. Now, if Alvin Kamara gets suspended, we're gonna have to weather that. He might get suspended, maybe 5-6 games. That's gonna be tough to come away with a solid score at the running back position with Isaiah Spiller and God knows who we're gonna take next at running back. But here's an opportunity again. It is what it is. I don't really know much about the Alvin Kamara suspension situation, but 5 games in a 17 game, it's an 18 game season, but a 17 game tournament isn't a whole lot. You can definitely come back from that, and I think he will. If he does get a suspension, it'll be in the 5 game range. So we are still really liking this team a lot. Okay, Michael Carter goes. Mac Jones goes pretty early, no? I have heard that Mac Jones is looking pretty good in camp, though, which doesn't really affect my decision making as far as drafting Mac Jones goes, but it does affect my decision making as far as Devontae Parker and Jacoby Myers goes. So yeah, he goes 33 picks ahead of time. I don't know about that. Although I will say this is the team that I do like a lot. Solid top 3 receivers and a top 4 receiver once he comes back. Devontae Parker, solid when you have Mac Jones. Irv Smith and Zach Ertz is fine. Probably should take a third tight end. But yeah, that team's looking really good. But not better than ours. Look at that. Just a solid team. JT, Alvin Kamara, Russell Wilson, Sackwood, Albert O, Dalton Schultz, and then just look at the wide receivers. Come on. Come on. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. All right, we're up in 8 picks. What is that? 168, 169. Wow, just no quarterbacks in that range. Huh. There's no point in taking a quarterback there. We'll definitely take Daniel Jones if he makes it to us. Not sure if he will or not. Let's see. We're up in 6 picks. 2 quarterback, 2. Yeah, if anyone's gonna take him, it's gonna be D Money. So if we make it through D Money, we can pretty much count on getting Daniel Jones, which would be lovely, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. We're not gonna shy away from taking another receiver if we have to. Not gonna shy away from that. We're gonna take what we're given. Especially at this point, I feel very comfortable in all of our positions. So I'm just gonna take the best available, not as far as ADP goes, but as far as I go. Why would you pick D Money? Yeah, I mean, what are you doing, bro? You're reaching 33 picks on Mac Jones, and then you're taking a third quarterback. Like, why are you doing that? He's probably because he's watching the stream. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, considering we have 0 concurrent viewers, I honestly would not be shocked if he was in the stream. But you know that's just what happens when you have a YouTube channel like I do. When it's that successful and you have this many eyes on you, you just can't really avoid things like that happening. So we'll just roll with the punches here. Honestly, I could see myself doubling up on running back as well. Because you really are starting to enter the range where running backs super drop off after Jamal Williams. Yeah. Why, dude? Enough. Why? Why go with Tyrion Davis Price when you have 4 receivers? What are you doing? Ugh. Ugh. I'm not happy about this, but you know, I think it's what our team needs right now, and that's what we're gonna continue to do. There's no point of us reaching for. There's no point of us reaching for any of these quarterbacks. To be honest with you, it's just. I mean, the next quarterback is 180, which I think we have a pick. Yeah, our next pick is 192. I'm not, and I'm definitely not reaching on Deshaun Watson. He might not even play. I wish Tyrion Davis Price fell to us, and we would have went Tyrion Davis Price and James Robinson, because I think there is a small possibility that James Robinson, when he gets back, is. I mean, I know Travis Etienne is looking good, but so is James Robinson, and the other possibility is, like, if they're really planning on not using him at all, then he might get traded. Gus Edwards, if anything happened to J.K. Dobbins, he will be an elite running back. I think he was averaging like 5.5 yards a carry last year or 2 years ago, last time he played. Um, so, and like I said, these are fourth and fifth running backs. Now between Isaiah Spiller, James Robinson, and Gus Edwards, they would have to pull some scores out of their ass if Alvin Kamara gets suspended at least for the first 5 weeks, 6 weeks or so. Um, but I do like when we're picking running backs in this range, you got to be happy with those three. I will say that. I think James Robinson is probably the most controversial. People might wish I went Jamal Williams instead, like a Jamal Williams, Gus Edwards, but I really don't need to take a wide receiver there. And I guess I could have taken a tight end. Wait, let's see. Yeah, I mean, well, who's still available? I could have taken like a Gerald Everett or Noah Fan, I guess, but nah. I like what we did. If we're really looking for a third tight end, we can go Hayden Hurst, which is definitely possible because I could definitely be done with running back and wide receiver here. 7 wide receivers is fine when you go so many so early. And then 5 running backs is fine when you go JT and Alvin Kamara because that's who you're counting on. Not rush. I don't think J.K. McKissick or Raheem Mostert is providing much more value than Hayden Hurst is. I would rather pick Hayden Hurst. Now the only problem is I have basically every receiver on the Bengals other than Jamar Chase. But since I'm getting Tyler Boyd and Hayden Hurst as late as I am slash would be, then I think that's okay because we're not counting on Hayden Hurst and Tyler Boyd as a weekly contribution to our score. That would be more of like a just in case type of pick, which when you're getting in this range, I mean, it is almost like a just in case type of thing. Now, would it be better to go like Ryan Tannehill and Will Fuller instead of Hayden Hurst? Maybe. Maybe. Um Let me think about this. Let me think. I think we have some options late, like in our how many picks we have left? I guess we only have one pick after this. I was gonna say we could do like a Davis Mills, Braven Jordan situation as our last two picks, but um, yeah, we're just gonna have to wait, see what the room gives us. I mean, if we get a wide receiver that we like, we'll definitely go with an eighth wide receiver. Obviously we need quarterback. Maybe we go with two quarterbacks. Actually, that might. Let's see, 216. What's a quarterback we can get really late? Marcus Mariota, Baker Mayfield, even. Might go Baker Mayfield as our last pick as a third quarterback. I think it's very, very possible he's starting somewhere. I mean, if he's still on the Browns, he'll probably start in Cleveland. And if he gets traded to the Panthers or Seahawks, then if he gets traded to the Seahawks, we have a stack with DK Metcalf, and he gets traded to the Panthers, then, I think you're getting a quarterback that has plenty of skill and potential at a very good value. The question is, if we have the option, do we go Hayden Hurst and Deshaun Watson? Do we go Will Fuller and Hayden Hurst? Do we go Jared Goff and Hayden Hurst? Do we go Jared Goff and William Fuller? Um, hmm. We do have a lot of options. I mean, that is a good thing. It's better than not having any that you're happy with. The question is Deshaun Watson in the last, if he gets suspended 10 games, Is the last 7 games more valuable than Hayden Hurst all season? That's the question I'm asking myself right now. And it's hard to say that that would be the case. I mean, that would be. It looks like we're going to have that option too. Another question is, are we comfortable with our tight end room as is, or do we want to add somebody? These are the 3 players we're looking at right here. We're gonna buy ourselves a little bit of time to get Jared Goff because I do think he is a very good option in this range. I'm just deciding if I want Hayden Hurst or Deshaun Watson. That's what I'm deciding because it's basically either Deshaun Watson or Baker Mayfield at this point. So I do really like Will Fuller, especially at the 193. We go Hayden Hurst here. I really Deshaun Watson would have been the pick I went with if we were in Best Ball Mania because I think he provides the highest ceiling and the best potential of giving you a league winner, and potentially winning you millions. But in this draft room, when we're trying to beat 12 people, I think having Hayden Hurst for the entire season, especially when we have especially when we have the entire receiving core of the Bengals not named Jamar Chase, um, I think you're gonna get a usable score from at least one of them, if not two of them, on a weekly basis. Um, Will Fuller, I like a lot. It was hard to not pick him there. However, however, we went so heavy in the wide receiver room that I think it was best to invest the later rounds in making up for what we sacrificed to go with this wide receiver room. I think it might have been a little bit OD to go to pick the wide receiver over the tight end in this situation. So, and if you watch any of my streams, you know this is a common theme for me picking Hayden Hurst in these last rounds. I truly believe that Hayden Hurst is going to be a top 12 tight end, and you're getting him in round what 17. It's been hard to not take that value because of the way I feel about Hayden Hurst. He's walking into such a good situation. I mean, you saw the weeks that CJ Uzama provided. I don't think he's a tight end two, but I think he's a very good third tight end that provide at least 3 or 4 weeks of 20-point games, which is huge coming out of the tight end room. Now I almost veered away from Hayden Hurst there for a second just because we did invest in Dalton Schultz pretty early. Um, but I just believe in our wide receiver room so much that, and I don't believe in Deshaun Watson that much as far as being available this season at all. He very well could get suspended the entire season. So I just, with the team that we have, and the way I feel about it, which is great, I don't think we're in the position to have to make desperate moves. I would much rather have some safer plays just because the rest of our team is so good and just because we're trying to beat 12 people and not 450,000 people. So that was my thought process there. Now, obviously, if either one of them make it back, we're going to take them. No questions asked. But in the position that we were in, that's kind of where my head was at. If Deshaun Watson goes, we'll probably take like Baker Mayfield. Because I do think he could be a sneaky pick that is extremely valuable, way more valuable than his ADP right now. And that's my question too: is like, do I even like Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield? Because I would put money on it that Baker Mayfield's playing football somewhere next season, regardless of where. He's going to be playing somewhere. Whereas Deshaun Watson, I can't say the same thing. I cannot say the same thing. And I really do believe in Jared Goff. I think he has so many weapons in Detroit that I know it sounds weird, but I think he does have so many weapons in Detroit that you really don't have to. Like, I don't think I'm in a position where I have to take a third quarterback. So if like Will Fuller makes it back to me, that's very possible too. Like I might take that as well. Drew Lock, interesting. Haven't seen him drafted yet. I know he's the current. Actually, he's not even the current starter in Seattle right now. Geno Smith, last time I heard, was winning the battle at the quarterback room. So I don't know. Big Drew Luck guy, I guess. Maybe they went to the same college or something. I don't know. That ain't the pick for me. Yeah, I think if Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller are both available, I'm going Will Fuller. I think if just Deshaun Watson is available, I'll go Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield. If neither of them are available, we're going to go Baker Mayfield. That's how we're going to play it. That's how I feel. I think. So this is the team that would take Will Fuller and he doesn't. Yeah, we're going to go Will Fuller. So here is our team: Russell Wilson and Jared Goff. Probably the weakest portion of our team, but um, I think that's just based on ADP. I really do think both these quarterbacks have potential to put up, I mean, at least 20-point weeks between the two of them every week, which is solid. I mean, it's doable. Um, Running back room, obviously, we're banking on Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor. If Alvin Kamara is suspended at all, then we'll have to try to squeeze a few scores out of these three players. But we're really, our bet was on these two. We're not really counting on them for anything. If they want to give us a spike week, then fine. If Austin Eckler goes down, fine. If anyone in front of these three players go down, then they're immediately, fighting for that RB2 spot. Not as far as skill goes, but just as far as availability goes. But I mean, we're really counting on Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara. Wide receiver room is solid, especially with that William Fuller pick at the end. And if he goes to the Ravens or the Packers or whatever, he's going to give us some spike weeks. So T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy stacked with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Kadarius Toney, who he could break out this year. He's a second-year receiver. He had some huge games last year. Extremely talented. Chris Olave, Tyler Boyd, giving us a little bit of insurance on T. Higgins. Michael Gallup, he's a solid wide receiver too when he gets back. And Will Fuller is extremely undervalued, assuming he gets picked up by a team. And then our tight end room looks extremely solid. Dalton Schultz, Alberto stacked with Russell Wilson. And then we really just got every single pass catcher other than Jamar Chase from the Cincinnati Bengals. So I really actually do like this draft a lot. Once again, I'm walking from a draft that I just feel good about. I would love to hear how you guys feel about this draft because I know there's probably some controversial decisions and picks here, but I feel great about it. So if I'm crazy, let me know. If not, then we're on the same page. But if you want to get into these drafts, go on Underdog Fantasy, sign up. Your first deposit anywhere from $10 to $100 will get matched 100%, free money. Get in, get you some practice, get you some fun. Use code FFX54 above my head and down below in order to support the channel. It doesn't take anything away from you. So we're going to keep doing these every single day. We're going to keep getting this practice. Hopefully a puppy draft starts up here soon. I'm really looking forward to that. But otherwise, I will see you guys later. I'm going to go eat some shrimp tacos. Peace out.